Welcome in today. Today we're going to be working on my 95 Honda Civic, the D16Z6 1.6 liter inline 4 engine. As I was driving home yesterday from work, it started to misfire real bad. And today we're going to be doing some diagnostics to figure out what the cause is. My initial thought is I've got a leaky injector, and the things that point that out is it's running real rough. I mean, it could be a myriad of things. It could be, no spark, leaky injector. But with the leaky injector, with it running rough, it's blowing a lot of smoke, and that smoke just smells like fuel. So we're gonna dive in, and I'm gonna go ahead and start diagnostics, kind of show you where to begin. So to diagnose injectors, if you have a misfire, you're gonna start, and I'll show you, but it'll be hard to talk while the engine's running. You're going to start your engine, and then you're going to pull each connector on the injectors one at a time. And if the performance of your engine changes, you'll know, hey, I got a bad injector. It's just as simple as that. So I'm going to get the camera set up. I'm going to get this engine started, and we're going to start in that process. Okay, so with it running right now, it's a little hard to tell that we've got a misfire. You can really tell once you get on the throttle. But once you let off that throttle, you can hear it, obviously, and you can kind of see all that smoke, a little bit, starting to billow out. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to start pulling each injector, and I'm going to see if the performance changes. If it does, then I've got a bad injector. Now, on these injectors, there's a little metal pin that clasps around right there, and to get that out, you're going to want to just pull up on your injector a little bit and then just spread that out with your pick. So I'm going to get this set up. As you can tell, so I pulled that injector, the performance changed a lot. So it's not that injector. Now we're going to move on to our next cylinder. You can tell right there, the performance didn't change that much. So I suspect it's going to be that cylinder, but let's get through the rest just to make sure. Plug that back in. We're going to pull the next one. There we go. You can see in the camera and you can hear that performance changed a lot. So it's not that injector. And last one. There we go right there. You can hear that a lot. That cylinder, it's definitely not that cylinder. Alrighty, let me get the car shut off, and then we'll dive in. Alrighty, you can also tell right there we have a leaky injector. That is just straight fuel that came out of the exhaust. So I'm gonna walk back around. So as you saw in that video, I don't know if you could really hear it or not, but this is the injector that we were having problems with, this cylinder altogether. Now, you could tell, obviously, as I said, as you pull each injector, you're going to notice the performance changes a lot. On a lot of newer vehicles, if you have a scan tool, they can actually perform that test. It's called an injector kill test, that you can weed out what cylinder is going to be misfiring, and then you can kind of dive in and go from there. So to verify, that we've got that leaky injector, I'm going to pull my boot out. I don't have a smaller deal. I let my buddy borrow some tools, and he never gave them back or lost them. We're going to pull out this spark plug so we can inspect our plug and possibly cylinder. Alrighty, yeah, you can definitely tell. Let's see if we can get this in the light. Ooh, a little bit. Focus, darn you. You can, there we go. You can see right there. So it's real glistening. It is very fouled with fuel. So that right there tells me that we've got a leaky injector. So that's pretty much all you would need to do for diagnostics. Is like, oh, we got a leaky injector. But if you really want to dive in further and kind of see how bad your injectors are leaking, so we're going to pull off our fuel rail. And I was doing some work earlier, so I was just doing some work with the connectors. So luckily this nut's already loose. Careful not to drop it into the abyss that your engine is. Now, you don't need to unplug your injectors, but back here on your fuel rail, let's see, there's 3 nuts. 1, 2, and then that third one's hiding right back in here. And it's hiding back there. There we go, back here. Anyway, so that's a 10 millimeter. There's my wrench. We're gonna go ahead and get this pulled off, and then I'll show you the next setup on how we're gonna see just how bad our injector is leaking. Alrighty, so we got those nuts off. You know what you're gonna do? Get you an old rag. You know, I've got an old FR shirt. So when you pull this out, there's gonna be some fuel. Then you're gonna kind of just pull up on your injectors and your fuel rail at the same time. Come on now. Let's get that out of the way. We can get that. There we go. And here we go. Perfect. I'm gonna get your rag down in here under the injectors. Alright, so I have to get your injectors out. Let's get to hold them all down. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the vehicle on. We're not gonna turn it over. We're just gonna turn it on to where the fuel pump will turn on, activate, and we'll kind of see just how bad that injector is leaking. Alright, if you want to go ahead and turn it on. Bam. So that's quite a bit. So as it's running, I mean, it's not going to be leaking as much, but if every startup it's putting that much fuel into the cylinder, yeah, eventually it's not going to be able to burn off. It's going to start fouling up that plug and misfiring. So now we know for certain that injector is leaking. So there we have it. That's kind of how you would diagnose a misfire. Simple. Pretty much you can do that with almost any vehicle. Obviously, you know, when you might not be able to pull that full fuel rail out, there's other tests that you could do. But on these Civics, you know, it's pretty easy. And like I said, it's universal. Same concepts apply for any vehicle you have. So go ahead and get that injector changed, get some parts ordered, and hopefully it'll fix our misfire. Thanks for watching.